to the forecast live. I am Niall McGrath. Lots obviously going on. I'm a little bit late starting here, so I do apologise. We're here, obviously, Luke Donald making his Ryder Cup picks for the match against the United States at Bethpage Black in just a few weeks' time. He's already picked Shane Lowry. I messed up by screams there, but we're on live now. So yeah, no surprise with Shane Lowry. I think we're not going to see too many changes from the team in Rome. I only reckon, maybe Harry Hall might get in ahead of Sepp Straka. Sepp had a really sort of poor end to the season in the FedEx Cup playoffs. Some personal issues going on as well. But no, I doubt that'll even happen if I'm honest. So he's named Shane Lowry. I think, Shane just said the normal sort of generic, stereotypical normal stuff. Delighted to be in, and I'm sure Shane would have probably known a couple of weeks ago. So Shane Lowry is the first pick. Jon Rahm has just been announced as the second pick. 2-time major winner, Live Golf. No surprise there at all. So I think we're going to have exactly the same team. Obviously, the only change is going to be the Højgaard twins getting shifted out, and maybe even I doubt Nikolai will get a shout. I think Harry Hall's the only one I could possibly see coming in for Sepp Straka, but I even doubt that very much. So bear with me if I'm sort of breaking up a little bit here, because the lads are obviously speaking and watching in this as well. But I'm going to talk about the Irish Open is obviously on this week as well. A little bit. So as I was saying, Shane Lowry was at a Shamrock Rovers game there last night, so he was full of smiles. So I'm sure he already knew from Luke Donald. And also Matt Wallace was in tears, really sort of sad to see after the European Masters there in Crans-sur-Sierre last night. He was bawling, crying in an interview at Sky Sports when he was asked about the Ryder Cup. So I presume he's not getting a pick. You wouldn't think so, but I think Luke is a pretty set side here for that charge at Bethpage Black, which I don't think. My early pick would definitely be on. My money would definitely be on the United States, just because the home crowd advantage I think is going to be massive here, and the way they're going to be able to set up the course. If you want to hit me up, get in touch, get comments in there. Who would you pick? All that sort of chat, or on social media. I'm Niall McGrath 4 everywhere, across Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, all that. Okay, he's just been a Jon Rahm here. So John just been with the challenge of going to New York and winning there. He's speaking about the environment being the biggest challenge, which I think it will be. We'd Rob MacIntyre a couple of weeks ago speaking about that the heckling and stuff that was going on there, and I think that is going to be an issue for a lot of the European players, because it's a younger side, let's be honest about it, and Rob didn't handle that the best in my opinion. That's why I thought I think they're going to do a lot of preparation for that. I don't know how you even do that, but it is going to be one of those ones where it's going to be a seriously hostile crowd, and I think it's great though, to be honest. I think it builds the spice, builds everything up. So they're just showing Jon Rahm now more waffle. He's showing his trophy room. So just give me a sec there. I just need to get something up. My phone is hopping as well today, with obviously transfer deadline day in the football, so I'm watching that. So here we are. Okay, so obviously Rambo's in there, Shane Lowry is in, Jon Rahm in. So the third pick is coming up right now from Luke Donald. Let's have a look. 2 of the 6 have been picked. Another Rome pick coming up. Sepp Straka has been picked for the Ryder Cup. No surprise. I thought he might, maybe the only change, but I doubt we're going to see anything from what we've expected here. 2-time winner on the PGA Tour this year. He is going to Bethpage Black. So yeah, no surprise there. I think if we were ever going to see one player maybe come out, it might have been him, but not today. And I think we're going to have a lot of disappointed players, especially in the European tours. The only three I would have, even really considered would have been obviously Matt Wallace. I felt sorry for him yesterday. That was pretty tough to watch. Harry Hall, Nikolai Højgaard, obviously, and Marco Penge has been playing wonderful golf this year on the DP World Tour. What has he finished? First, sixth, and eighth in his last three. Marco Penge, definitely a name to watch out for in the future. Phenomenal golf player. So Sepp is back again. He's just having a word here with the team announcement, should I say, on Sky Sports. They're just saying how incredible it is. He has had a great year, in fairness. Really good start to the year. Fell off a little bit, as I said, towards the end of the year. Had some personal problems as well. But, phenomenal player, Sepp Straka, when he's on form. One of the best iron players, I believe, on the PGA Tour. Incredible. Putting sometimes maybe lets him down a little bit, but doesn't it with everyone. Gets a captain's pick. No surprise there. What did he win this year? It was the Farmers Insurance, I think, and he won the Truist, if I'm not mistaken. I'll just double check that. And he played with Shane Lowry as well in Rome, and they're good buddies, even though he did overcome Shane at the Truist Championship earlier on in the year. But no surprise there with that pick. Let's just find what he got. Get any comments in down there, anything like that, hit me up. As I said on socials, Niall McGrath 4. Just seeing there now. Fourth is coming up in a second. And also, we'll be talking about the Irish Open this week as well. Good feel at the Irish Open. Sometimes it really probably hasn't got the placement on the calendar it deserves, in my opinion. I always thought it should have been a co-sanctioned event like the Scottish Open, but I know there was definitely talks about that a few years ago, but it obviously didn't materialise. It needs to be before the Ryder Cup, in my opinion, and before the Open, because it sort of loses its pizzazz after. And I know they struggle with sponsors and stuff over the years, which has really been a big bummer. But good field this week. Brooks Koepka's even in the field. It's Patrick Reed. Good for the American guys. So I'll be talking about that. I'll be doing a picks piece on that. And I do think the likes of Tyrrell Hatton are going to be the ones to watch out this week, because here's the 4 pick coming up. Sorry. Third consecutive Ryder Cup. Viktor Hovland has been picked. No surprise at all. Viktor Hovland adds to Luke Donald's side. Exactly the same, bar one from last year so far in the total selections, or automatic, between the automatic and picks for Luke Donald's side. So that is for the 6 done. Shane Lowry, John Rahm, Sepp Straka, and Viktor Hovland. Going back to the Irish Open. Sorry, yeah. What I was saying there is, I think, it would be amazing if they could just get a different date in it. But if you're looking at, I think, potential winners this week, you look at Tyrrell Hatton, and Tyrrell, obviously they have, the live guys have to come in and play a certain amount of events in terms to keep their DP World Tour card for world ranking points, all that. But Tyrrell is tended to play, and the same with Brooks Koepka. They've always, obviously, they picked their events on courses I think they're going to have a potential of winning on, and what's best suited, instead of playing a number of events. And I think Tyrrell Hatton, anytime he tends to play in the DP World Tour, he normally comes close to winning. I think his last start was at the Dubai Desert Classic in Europe, and he won. So I think the big favourite this week, in my opinion, for the Irish Open would be Tyrrell Hatton for me. I'm going to potentially have a little punt on Tyrrell this week. So there we go, some confirmation. Viktor Hovland is in, and Sepp Straka is in, joining the other boys that we've spoken about. He's just speaking here, so just give me a second. He's speaking about college golf. Likeable guy, in fairness, Viktor. Gone through a load of coaches, which I think is a little bit concerning, but I think 3 or 4 in the last 18 months, but a guy that's obviously immensely talented, and no surprise that he's getting the nod on the team. So we're just getting to the 5th pick now. So let's just go through the whole team so far. Tommy Fleetwood, Tyrrell Hatton, Rasmus Højgaard, Robert MacIntyre, Rory McIlroy, Justin Rose on the 4 picks so far. Shane Lowry, John Rahm, Sepp Straka, Viktor, Hovland. 2 more to go for Luke Donald. He's just about to get his latest pick in 1 second. So just hang on with me. Just speaking to Viktor now about how much he learnt from 2021. Just a generic bullshit questions. I have to be honest, not my favourite person who's hosting the golf today on Sky Sports. If you follow me on Twitter, you might sort of get an inkling into who I'm talking about. He does love a bit of Rory McIlroy talk, or Tommy Fleetwood. But he's actually, interesting now, he's actually talking about the US crowd, Viktor Hovland. In 21 at Whistling Straits, he said he's a bit more timid. And he said he's not, basically saying here he's not going to be more timid next time. Saying he's ready in the first tee, so a great team so far, but no surprise. But any of the picks, let's get number 5. Here's pick number 5. Ludvig Åberg has been announced as the 5th captain's pick for Team Europe. Ludvig Åberg joins Åberg, should I say? Joins Åberg. Ludvig Åberg. Åberg is back in Europe's Ryder Cup team. No surprise at all. What a talent, incredible player. But again, I'm just looking at this here and I'm going, you have a lot of guys who I think they're young and maybe, will they be able to handle this crowd? This is going to be a raucous crowd, guys. New York crowd. Anyone knows New York sports fans, it's going to be wild. So I'm just a little bit concerned. That's my main concern about these guys going over. They obviously have the talent, but they can get underneath your skin. We saw Bobby Mack a couple of weeks ago. He might have learned for that. So Ludvig Åberg, another Scandinavian on the team. 3 months he was last time into his professional career when he made his bow on the Ryder Cup team at Marco Simone in Rome. It's hard to believe that. An incredible player. He looks all of 12. But what a talent. Supreme talent. He's just speaking here. He's just talking about how much of an amazing week he had in Rome. Shame we don't see these guys playing the Irish Open. I think, as I mentioned earlier on, I'm going to keep harping on about this. For a nation who has so many great golf courses, we really should have a better date and a better field. And I understand why, players don't get over. Obviously, the schedule is hectic enough as it is, but it'd be just great, I think, if the European Tour, not the Europe, maybe even the PGA Tour, as I said, like the Scottish Open, did a co-sanctioned event. Just with some of the courses here we have is absolutely outrageous. But anyway, Luke Donald's just saying here about Ludvig Åberg and why he picked him. No surprise. And I think we're probably going to round it out with it's either I would imagine it's Matt Fitzpatrick that's going to be named as the last one, but we'll see. Will there be any surprises? Here's the last pick. It's going to be coming up in just 1 minute here. I'd be very surprised. So it just looks like there's going to be one change. Obviously, the Højgaard twins swapping out. We're going to have Rasmus in instead of Nikolai, who Rasmus obviously automatically qualified, leapfrogging Shane Lowry and Sepp Straka on the final day at the BMW Betfred Masters there last week. So final pick coming up. The 5 captains picks are Shane Lowry, Jon Rahm, Sepp Straka, Viktor Hovland, Ludvig Åberg. So here is the final pick from Luke Donald. For the 4th time, it is Matt Fitzpatrick, 2022 US Open champion, has been picked. So absolutely zero surprises in Luke Donald's side. I think everyone was sort of going along with this to be the projected team, and it is the projected team. Just the one change, as I mentioned there a moment ago, the Højgaard twins swapping each other out. Matt Fitzpatrick earns a pick. Did play some good stuff at the weekend there at the Omega European Masters in Kronsner-Sierre. So he does get the pick. And yeah, listen, no surprises. I'm sure Harry Hall and the likes will be pretty disappointed coming off great seasons. Marco Penge, another real talent to watch out for in the coming months. And obviously Nikolai will be disappointed as well. But I don't think any major surprises for Team Europe. So yeah, let's just go through it there. Hang on, I'm just going to pull this up here. For Team Europe, I'm sure we're going to get the usual bog standard response from Matt Fitzpatrick and being picked for the Ryder Cup. So let's go through the European side that has been announced. Tommy Fleetwood. Hang on, I'm just going to pull up my MacBook here. Common ticker. So there we go. We have the European team confirmed. Tommy Fleetwood, Tyrrell Hatton, Rasmus Højgaard, Viktor Hovland, Shane Lowry, Robert MacIntyre, Rory McIlroy, Jon Rahm, Justin Rose, and Sepp Straka. Tough calls to be made, but pretty much the same. Sorry, he's just speaking here about some of the calls he's made. Matt has not his best year. He's the one who's turned it around the most. Fair enough. I would have liked to seen maybe 1 or 2 changes, but yeah, listen, I don't think anyone actually really expected it. So they're the team, European team that are going to travel to Bethpage Black to face this team, which is the team of Sam Burns, Patrick Cantlay, Bryson DeChambeau, Harris, English, Ben Griffin, Russell Henley, Colin Morikawa, Sander Schauffele, JJ Spawn, Scotty Scheffler, Justin Thomas, and Cam Young. So yeah, it's going to be absolute fireworks in a couple of weeks' time. Yeah, so I'm going to leave it at that today. Any comments? Throw them in there. Anything else you want me to speak about tomorrow at the Irish Open coming up? I think it's going to be a really good Irish Open, as I've said this week. Plenty of really good players in the field. Brooks Koepka, Patrick Reed, Rory, Shane, Tyrrell Hatton, who I do heavily fancy actually this week to get the job done. Like Brooks is probably worth a little bet as well, because anytime he tends to show up, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, seems to do pretty well on the DP World Tour circuits. And great to see him actually play the Irish Open, because he did play here in the DP World Tour. It was 2014 to 2016, or maybe it was earlier, 2012, 2014, and never played the Irish Open. So I think it's pretty cool to have Brooks back in the field for the Irish Open. And there's a number of really good field. Marco Penge is there as well. Another one I might have a little play on this week. I'm going to go into more detail about that either tomorrow or Wednesday. I'll probably drop it tomorrow. I'd say about 3 o'clock, something like that. Might even go live with it and do something there. Obviously just need to get a bit more data up and run over who I'm actually going to go for. But in terms of what we're looking at for the Ryder Cup in a few weeks' time, I'll have plenty more content. Do hit up the channel, should I say, if you want to get subscribed, hit the notification button, all that, share. Do subscribe if you're getting value, comments, all that. Me up on socials. I'm at Niall McGrath 4, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. So yeah, no surprises at all really today from Luke Donald. Bog standard picks. I think everyone was expecting that team. There might have been a change. I think it was at 95% against, even though I probably would have liked just maybe one just to freshen things up. I know we do obviously have the Højgaard twin swapping out, but I would have liked one more in the rear of the field. But anyway, it's not to be. So yeah, from Niall McGrath, it is. Good luck and good night. Cheers, guys. Thanks a million for tuning in.